Good afternoon and welcome to Seasoning Where the platform where we speak truth to power. As you're watching with me now, there is a breaking news which is very annoying. We are hearing that Tani Olohun has been given 5 days, given 50 days. He's been jailed for 50 days. It's totally unacceptable. If you can, do help us share this broadcast. You are, of course, watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Tani Olohun has been jailed for 50 days and it is very, very wrong. It is totally unacceptable. It is something we need to reject. And I want to say something. We should not. We need to do something here. We need to confront the governance. This is bad governance. And if we paid for beg your pardon, if we go and get a lawyer in and trying to free him that way, fine, yes we can if we want to do that, but I want us to really think deeply about what this means. I'm not saying that it should stay there, don't misunderstand me. I'm just trying to make a point here that it is very important that we begin to collectively hold our governors to account. What they're doing is wrong. There is no one clear reason from what we can understand why this young man should be in jail. 50. Free Tani Olohun. Hashtag free Tani Olohun. That is the best thing that we can do, all of us right now. We can do that right now. Share that information as I am talking to you now. Let me just check something, please, right quick. Make sure that it's there. So I'm going to just put that up because it is very, very wrong. It is totally unacceptable. So I want to really reiterate this point, and that's why I wanted to do this. He must be freed. Tani Olohun must be freed. It is totally unacceptable that this is something that is even being thought about from that point of view, that he's going to be jailed. Jail for what? Jail for what? This is very, very, very wrong. Very, very, very wrong. So please, as you're getting this broadcast, as you're receiving it, subscribe to us. We're going to talk in detail about how all of this came about and what we can do, what we must all do now, for the sake of Tani Olohun and for many others, and for those who believe in true justice and fairness. We must do something, which is to begin to actually spread the word about this injustice. It is total injustice. It is not acceptable. It is wrong. It is morally unacceptable that this young man who has done nothing wrong ends up in jail for doing nothing other than speaking up about things that are unjust. It is not acceptable. It is not right. It is something that we need to really be against, and we should really make sure that we do not remain silent in the face of this injustice, because let's be frank, this is sheer injustice. What is being done right now is unacceptable. The young man hasn't done anything wrong. The young man hasn't done anything wrong. As you're watching this, please subscribe to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. We really need your support in growing the platform. We're trying to get to the milestone of 3,000 subscribers, and would really like your support in helping us grow this platform. Now, like I've said, we've heard about Tani Olohun and what they've done to him by putting him in jail. It is really, really wrong. I'm going to try and read the story for you. Let me just get it for you. So, and then we can go into detail. Let's see. So it says for 50 days. I want to just find out for you, and then we can dig and talk about it along as much as we can. It is terribly unacceptable that he should be jailed for 50 days. It is quite unacceptable. It is truly sickening that he's been given 50 days. Just want to give you a little bit of info on that. You can see it says here. And let me see if can I make that bigger? I want to just show you what I mean. So let me just make it bigger here so you can see it. I'm going to just show you basically now. So he's been jailed for 50 days. Tani Olohun jailed for 50 days. How can that be just? So we are saying in no uncertain terms, free Tani Olohun. We're saying that he has to be freed. Hashtag free Tani Olohun. And one of the reasons why we're saying that, and we know we're justified, is that we have a constitution, and those who are supporting the legal jailing of this young man, those who are supporting it, please share. Those who are supporting the jailing of this young man, it is not right. You need to understand what you're saying. You need to understand that we have constitutional powers, and the Constitution supersedes any of the religious laws that you may wish to quote. We need to really understand that, and that is what I really want us to really home in on. We mustn't. I really suggest, what we are saying right now. People are even going online and saying, "Oh, see your life now. You've been jailed for 50 years." We need to understand, if we continue to be silent in the face of this injustice that is being meted out to this young man, and we do not do something, it will be our turn next. It will be what? Like my ego says, it will be turn by turn. It will be what? I'm telling you, it will be. So let me just make sure I get this right. Something going on with the back of this picture there, and I want that there. Sorry, 1 second. I don't know. 1 second, please. So there is a picture thing that I'm trying to just set out. It's just a technical issue. Sometimes it bugs me when it does that, and I'm trying to sort it. There we go. I think I've got it resolved. So, what am I saying? If we remain silent in the face of this injustice, please share this podcast. Then what we are really doing is saying that we do not care about what happens to anybody else. It is totally unjust. Not 50 years. It is 50 days. 50 days. 50 days. 50 days. Bola Tito, my sister. It is 50 days. He's been jailed for 50 days. I don't know if I've typed it anyway. Let me just check anything that I've done. He's been jailed for 50 days. Let me be very clear about that. I don't know if I've put years anywhere. If I have done, then I'm actually making that very, very clear. 50 days. That's it. Yes. So that is what we need to. Daughter Ojo. Yes. So let me just see. Yes, Ojo. Yes, exactly. So that is totally unacceptable. And please, we need to take collective action on this. We mustn't let this go. This is why we have been talking about the need for us to participate in our governance on a daily basis. We need to participate. You see what you see scrolling on the screen here. What you see there. And let me read that to you. You need to begin to use that within your communities. Because if we are silent, those in power, they know they are wrong. The police have no right. The government have no right to hold Tani Olohun. And unfortunately, if we pay any money to release him, we are setting a precedent that the next person they find who speaks up about their rights will face the same situation. We need to put a stop to it collectively in every community. What I want you to look at right now is the law going on the screen there. And I will read it to you offhand. It says, I know many of us want to go for Yoruba Nation and Biafra, and I know all of that. But we are currently right now we are currently in Nigeria. And for as long as we're in Nigeria, we need to know the powers that we have within the Constitution to begin to be able to hold those we elect to office to account. Because for 24 years, many of us have not been aware of the powers we possess and the laws that gives us rights as citizens within the country. We don't know it. We have been taught from the age of 4 about Christianity and Islam. Many of us have been going to Sunday schools from the age of 4, going to the Quran houses at the age of 4, Kewu. But we have not been taught from the age of 4 about our constitutional rights. For over 24 years, that is 2 generations. A generation is considered to be 10 years. So more than 2 generations now have not been aware that we have powers that I'm about to read to you on the screen, which I'm going to show to you. Let me see if I can actually, I'll read it to you. It's going across the screen. I know it off it, but I'm going to read it. It says, sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. Please do share this broadcast. Again, I'm going to read that to you, and I want you to please share it. Very, very important information. Please share. Don't forget to subscribe to Citizen AY. Hit notification button. Janet Matt, it is totally unjust. I agree with you. So let me just pin your messages. I'll pin the message to you. 50 days. So to be very clear, it is 50 days. Janet Matty said, very unjust. Bola Tito K said, 50 years. It means 50 days. So it is wrong for the government to jail this young man. He has done nothing wrong. There is nothing of note that they can point to that he has done. What we know is that he's been speaking up for Isheshe. The Muslim in Ilorin have been going after. They have been going after the spiritual belief, the Onisheshe, the African spiritualists like myself and others. They've been going after us, and they've been chasing us in our communities. In Ilorin is a state. Ilorin is the state capital of Kwara, right? And Ilorin has a historical past. The fights between Yorubas and Hausas and Fulanis, Afonja. This is the story, but Ilorin has always been and continues to be Yoruba land. Let us be very clear about that. There are some in Ilorin, unfortunately. Not unfortunately. Following the Afonja war, there has been a lot of infiltration, whereby the Fulanis have infiltrated and intermarried, and they are answering to Yoruba names, and they use that as cover to try and take over Ilorin. You see, when they say when you're going to take over a community, what do? You take it over through by taking over their culture, by ending their culture, by putting a stop to the culture, and that is what they're doing. So we need to be very, very, very alert to this. I know it's a sensitive issue, and I'm trying to deal with it in a very, very balanced way, but that is what is really happening. Those who are the Fulanis and who are married to Yorubas or who are speaking Yoruba are using it as a way as no, they're speaking we're speaking for you. Ilorin is ours. Ilorin is ours. But when they say Ilorin is ours, they're saying it belongs to the Fulani, even though they are speaking Yoruba. That is the game that some of them are playing there, and it's really important. It is really, 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 really important that we are alert to this, and we need to address it. And we are grateful. We are grateful for Isheshe Day. We are grateful for Isheshe Day that President Tinubu has allowed to now be part of what we do on a daily basis in Yoruba land. Please do share this podcast. Help us reach more people. Because what we're trying to do is to really get into a situation where we can raise awareness about our rights. Let me see. Let me just put this up there. Let me just put this here now. 1 second. So as you're watching, please subscribe to Citizen AY. Help us share the broadcast. We will talk some more in more detail about this. There's been some rumor that apparently he may have burned the Quran. We don't know if that's true or not. But that's not the point. What we should say is that whilst nobody's condoning burning anything, that does not give anybody the right to take the life of anybody or to jail them. It does not. So the constitution is very, very clear. And this is what we're trying to really put on. You know, make sure you understand. So let me see. Okay, 1 second. Let me just make sure I get this right. Live on YouTube. I'm going to pin the link for our YouTube channel on the link I'm about to share on Facebook. Because as you all know, Facebook are very unreliable and they've been bringing our broadcast down. So we're not doing much of our work on there. So we're trying to get this done. Now, thanks. So you get a better view of what we're trying to do. So what the point I'm making here is this: there is no justification whatsoever for imprisoning or holding Tani Olohun in jail for 50 days. And somebody said, oh, see you on 5th of October. It's almost like they're laughing about it. Well, it is not a laughing matter. It is, we don't find it funny, not in any way, shape, or form. We don't find the fact that he's been arrested. We don't find it funny at all. It is actually unjust, and it goes against the Constitution. And we're going to read through that at length. Because, you see, one of the things that we're realizing is that because we don't know our Constitution, those who are practicing the religions of Islam particularly, they have now taken that what they have been taught in Islam from the age of 4 is in fact the rule of the land, is the constitution of the land. And that is not the case. From the age of 4, they have been, for want of a better word, indoctrinated. Just like Christians have been. They have been indoctrinated in Islam. And they now take that to mean that because they have been indoctrinated and that is all they've ever known, that everybody else will have to come to yes, it's totally unacceptable. Olayinka Oyejobi. Exactly. So it is totally unacceptable. I'm going to be pinning and you know, switching the pinning of comments. Please leave your comments as ever when you're coming in. Join Citizen NY, subscribe, hit notification button, give us thumbs up, help us reach more people. We really need your support, and we are here calling for the Commissioner of Police of Ilorin to free Tani Olohun. He must be freed. No money should have to be paid. No money should have to be paid to free him, because it is unjust to arrest a man that is exercising his constitutional right. We all know for a fact that in Ilorin, the Islamists have been targeting, and yes, that's the word to use. They have been targeting relentlessly. They have been targeting the Onisheshi, the African spirit. They have been targeting us. This guy here, let me see if I can show you this now. And I don't see, this guy said something here, which I'm just going to share with you. He's going to speak, I'll try and translate it to you in Yoruba. You know, and I don't dispute what he's saying at all, because he's going to say this now. He's going to talk about Ilorin.
Ọmọ Ìlọrin tó bá sọ pé bítọ̀ Ìlọrin ṣe rí kọ́ ni mo ṣe ń pabọ̀ látẹ̀yìn, ọmọ àlè Ìlọrin ni. Ẹni àfà ní Ìlọrin tó bá dẹ̀ sọ pé Ìlọrin ò ń ṣe ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, ọ̀dàlẹ̀ ni wọ́n ní Ìlọrin. Bàbá ńlá kú bàbá wọn pẹ̀lú àwọn tí wọ́n parapọ̀ mọ́ àwọn Fúlàní tí wọ́n fi pa Àfọ̀njá ní Ìlọrin. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìtàn Ìlọrin, gbogbo wa la mọ̀ pé Ládẹrin láti ìlú Ọ̀yọ́ ló sọ Ìlọrin di ìlú. Ládẹrin ló kọ́kọ́ jẹ baálẹ̀ alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ ní Ìlọrin ní abẹ́ àkóso Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́. Ìgbà tí Ládẹrin dẹ̀ ń darí ìlú Ìlọrin, kò sí ẹ̀sìn Ìsìlámù ní Ìlọrin, ẹ̀sìn ìṣẹ̀ṣe ni wọ́n ṣe. Ìgbà tí Ládẹrin lo ìgbà rẹ̀ tán tó kú, ni ọmọ rẹ̀ Pàṣín wá bọ́ sí, ó jẹ baálẹ̀ lẹ́kejì ní Ìlọrin. Ìgbà tí Pàṣín dẹ̀ ń darí ìlú Ìlọrin, kò sí ẹ̀sìn Ìsìlámù ní Ìlọrin, ìṣẹ̀ṣe náà ni wọ́n ṣe.
So what he's saying is that the oldest practice that we have in Ilorin has and remains the Ìṣẹ̀ṣe. Ìṣẹ̀ṣe is what we grew up with. Nothing like Islam. Ìṣẹ̀ṣe has been part of our culture, our life for centuries. That's what it's saying in Yoruba. I'm just translating loosely. Let's listen on.
wọ́n gbégún ní ládùbà, wọ́n gbégún sáré, wọ́n dẹ̀ ń bọ odò àṣà. ìgbà tí Pàṣí lo ìgbà rẹ̀ tán tó kú, ọmọ rẹ̀ Alùgbín wá jẹ baálẹ̀ ẹlẹ́kẹta nílọrin. ìgbà tí Alùgbín jẹ baálẹ̀ ẹlẹ́kẹta nílọrin tó ń darí ìlú Ìlọrin, ẹ̀sìn ìsìlámù tí dé Ìlọrin, ìṣẹ̀ṣe náà ni wọ́n ń ṣe. gbogbo òrìṣà tó wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá pátápátá ni wọ́n ń bọ nílọrin. ìgbà tí Alùgbín dẹ̀.
So all our ancestral Orisha, they are the people of Ilorin do exactly what other parts of Yoruba nation, Yoruba land do, which is to honor and to worship our own our ancestral beliefs. Osha, Ogun, Oshun, Oya, Shango, Eshu, all of that. That is part of this. Is so when the Muslims try to come into Ilorin to try and separate that history from our past, it is not right. It is a recent. In fact, I would say the first signs of Islam can only be traced down to the 1800s, 17 and 1800s. That is what it is. And these are, and they've been trying to do, it might be slightly longer than that. We know that Islam first came to Africa 700 years ago. Because in the 700s, because it was after Mansa Musa went into Mecca and they wanted to take over the resources, the gold and everything that he brought. They saw that. So they started using religion as a way to take us over. We give ourselves to Allah, give ourselves all of that stuff. But that's another story. But let's listen to what he's saying. So it is important to know that Isheshe has been part and parcel of even those who, the Muslims and Christians in Yoruba land, they are in their own family. Their roots are to be found only in Isheshe. The roots of each and every one of us in Yoruba land are to be found in Isheshe. Be it Christian, be it Muslim, our roots are in Isheshe. No ifs, no buts, no question. That is a fact. What we should be doing is embracing it, not rejecting it. And because if we engage in hating Isheshe, we are engaged in what is best termed self-hate. We are actually practicing self-hate. For those who are Muslims or Christians, you may not be practicing Isheshe. That is fine. But what you mustn't do is to hate it, to pointedly reject it, whilst you are embracing cultures that were imposed on us. And not cultures, religions that were imposed on us. Because the religion of Islam and the religion of Christianity have been religions that were imposed on our ancestors. That's the reality of what is going on. We continue to ask for the unconditional release of Tani Olohun. He should not be in jail for 50 days. He has done nothing wrong. We are going to go and explain that further. But let's listen on to what this man is saying.
lùgbà rẹ̀ tán tó kú tó lọ, ọmọ rẹ̀ Àfọ̀njá wá jẹ baálẹ̀ ẹlẹ́kẹrin nílọrin. Ìgbà tí Àfọ̀njá jẹ baálẹ̀ ẹlẹ́kẹrin tó ń darí ìlú Ìlọrin, kò tíì sí ẹ̀sìn ìsìlámù nílọrin, ẹ̀sìn ìṣẹ̀ṣe náà ni wọ́n ń ṣe nígbà ayé Àfọ̀njá. Àfọ̀njá wá ń wá pé kí ìlú Ìlọrin kún nígbà tí àwọn àfáà Límì wá láti ilẹ̀ Sókótó, wọ́n wá sí Ìlọrin, wọ́n wá tọrọ ààyè ní ọwọ́ Àfọ̀njá pé káwọn lè máa ríbi kéwú kó máa ṣe ẹ̀sìn ìsìlámù wọn lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kan. Àfọ̀njá wá fàyè gbà wọ́n pé kí wọ́n máa ṣe ẹ̀sìn ìsìlámù wọn lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kan, kí àwọn tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá náà kí wọ́n máa ṣe ìṣẹ̀ṣe wọn lọ lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kan, bẹ́sàn pé Àfọ̀njá fẹ́ pé kí ìlú Ìlọrin tètè kún. Àfọ̀njá wá ń darí ìlú Ìlọrin gẹ́gẹ́ bí baálẹ̀ ẹlẹ́kẹrin ní abẹ́ àkóso Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ Àólẹ̀. Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ Àólẹ̀ wá fi Àfọ̀njá jẹ Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Àfọ̀njá jẹ́ jagunjagun fúnlẹ̀ Yorùbá. So tí Àfọ̀njá bá ti wá jagun lọ fúnlẹ̀ Yorùbá, àfáà Límì ló máa fi ṣe aṣojú nílọrin. because Àfà Álímì jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ Àfọ̀njá. Tí Àfà Álímì wá ń darí ìlú Ìlọrin gẹ́gẹ́ bí olórí àwọn mùsùlùmí nílọrin, so wọ́n ti promote ẹ̀sìn Islam, wọ́n ti regulate rẹ̀ dáadáa nílọrin. Gbà t'Àfà Álímì wá dàgbà tó kú tán, Àfọ̀njá náà ti dàgbà, ó ti over 70 years. Àwọn ọmọ Àfà Álímì ó wá parapọ̀, wọ́n pa Àfọ̀njá, ló fi di pé wọ́n fi cancel Àfọ̀njá láti má jẹ ipò baálẹ̀ mọ́ tó yẹ kó máa jẹ ọba nílọrin, tó fi wá di pé àwọn ọmọ Álímì tó jẹ́ Abdulsalam ó wá jẹ emir alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ nílọrin. Àtìgbà yẹn dẹ̀ ni wọ́n ti ń try láti cancel ìṣẹ̀ṣe nílọrin, of which ìṣẹ̀ṣe ni wọ́n fi tẹ̀lé Yorùbá pátápátá, ìṣẹ̀ṣe náà dẹ̀ ni wọ́n fi tẹ̀lé Ìlọrin. So èmi kọ́ ni onírọ́, mi dẹ̀ kí n ṣọmọ Ìgbò. Tó bá dẹ̀ tó àsìkò, Yorùbá máa padà máa jọba nílọrin because jàǹbá lẹ fi gba ipò ọba lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọmọ Ìdí Àpè.
Exactly. So you can see what he was saying there. He was telling a brief story of Ilorin, and from what he said, these are facts. What he's saying, Ilorin has always been a Yoruba land, and until the Afonja situation, when Afonja started trying to, he had a problem with the king of Yoruba land at the time, and then they had this agreement, and Afonja was told, okay, you stay in Kwara, and the king would manage the other areas, and he's trying to gain popularity and everything else. So he decided to work with the Fulanese, and apparently, from what the man said, he wanted to populate the land. And of course, when the land is full, it shows that people welcome you and accept you. And the people that he welcomed in were ultimately Fulanese. Now, anyway, he got in, and whilst he was there, when he went, and he got them to be working with him, but they planned behind him and got him murdered. That's why the story of Afonja is one of a tragic one till date. But what cannot be disputed right now is the fact that Ilorin, even the name Ilorin, if you listen to the name Ilorin is meaning in Yoruba to press the iron, to work with iron. Ilorin. So that means that's in Yoruba. So we've been people known to have been working with iron for centuries in Ilorin. That is the name of Ilorin till today, from all the way back then in Yoruba. So when those try to come and say, no, this is not the case, and all of that, we do need to really confront it. But that doesn't remove us from speaking truth to power. We need to really ensure that Tani Olohun is released. There is a game that's being played here, and we should not in any way, shape, or form accept it. Let us make sure that we stand together. Please, again, about paying funds for Tani Olohun to release him. The people who have held him, they are trying to use him to teach us a lesson. And that is not right. They don't have such powers to hold Tani Olohun because they are going against the Constitution. I wonder if I can find one information for you, which I saw, and I was going to share it some time ago, but I hadn't. And now I think it's the time in which to share that information. So let me just do this quickly. So those of you who are watching, I'm going to put it on. I want you, if you're watching me for the first time and you are on ODTV Movement, please do join and help us reach more people, because we really need you all to help us grow the platform. So it's nowhere the platform where we speak truth to power. We're going to be speaking largely in English on this platform. The news that we're hearing is that Tani Olohun has been jailed for 50 years. And that is the premise upon which this broadcast is being made. And we are here to categorically reject any attempt to jail and keep Tani Olohun, in that jail for 50 days. It is not acceptable. It is unjust. And in fact, it is unconstitutional. It is unconstitutional to jail him because the Constitution is the supreme document above any religion. The Constitution is the supreme document above any religion. I urge those of you watching us, please do share this broadcast. Help us reach more people, because we are talking about really important information here. Biati Tunlo Irin means Ilorin. Exactly. So thank you very much for that clarification. Olayinka Oyejobi, thank you very much. So the meaning of Ibiti Tunlo Irin means Ilorin. Exactly. So Ilorin. So they're the ones we are pressing the iron. So that means that's a Yoruba Yoruba that's in Yoruba language. So Ilorin cannot be anything else other than Yoruba. Now there are some Fulanis who have intermarried and who have been using, and they're trying to use that. You see, you take over, when you're going to take over a country, you take over the culture by, you take over the culture or a community. And that's what they're trying to do. So what they've done is some of them are speaking Yoruba, but then they are there, under that they're now saying, no, we can no longer accept any other religion. It's not their right to do so. In olden times, Yoruba land has always been Yoruba land, and we've been doing Isheshe there long before the religion of Islam came about. Long before. So we are categorically rejecting any attempt to say that Ilorin belongs to Fulanis. It does not. It is and remains. It is and remains Yoruba land. We have to be very clear about that. And again, once again, we are grateful to President Tinubu. We are very grateful for President Tinubu in granting Yorubas for the first time the Isheshe Day, which was a huge success. Many of you would have seen this broadcast on Citizen AY and indeed Oduduwa TV Radio, where we showed the procession for the Isheshe Day and how that went on. And it was carried over in many places. And what is more, 4 state governments, Lagos, Osun, Oyo, and Ogun, have allowed people to celebrate Isheshe Day. And in fact, today, as we are speaking right now, today is a bank holiday. Let me give you a pacing point. Osun, for example, I've got paperwork on the one for Osun. That much I can definitely give you. So we're just trying to give you some context to what we're doing here, so you can get a clear background, Let me see if I can find it for you. Osun Day. So let me see if I can find that. Give me 1 sec. Let me see if I can find it. I think I might be able to find it. So, because that is very important to know, because that tells you, because in how things have been run so far when it comes to Nigeria, we have not been allowed to actually celebrate this important piece of information that we are talking about. We've not been allowed to celebrate it, and that is so important for us to. Sorry, not that one. That's it. Yeah. Look, by the way, that is pictures from the Isheshe Day. That is people waiting to go and honor our belief system in Isheshe Day, and that was really nice to see. I'll show you. I think I have one more picture to show you on top of that. So that is no, not that one. Sorry, no, not that one. Beg your pardon. No, I don't want that. Is that the one? It may not be this one, but I don't know. We'll see. What I wanted to show you was the Osun Day one. But if it doesn't show up, then see, there's more people again from the Isheshe Day, and it's very important. So anyway, so going back to what we're saying, we are calling for the unconditional release, immediate release of Tani Olohun. And the reason why we are saying that, please do not make any payment. Do not make any payments to those who illegally are to the police, to the government to release him, is that if we do that, we are setting a precedent that even though the government knows they are wrong, they will put a process in place. Okay, if you want to get freed, pay money, and we will all and if it's not, it will be turn by turn. This will be turn by turn if we if we do not speak up. And I'm showing us again. I'm going to go back here. I'm trying to show us what we have, what the law says, and how we can use the law to justify, to free ourselves from this attempt to enslave us. So as ever, you're watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. If you're joining for the first time and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. What I'd like you to do is to do something for me. Just that's all we would love you to do. Because when you share the broadcast, you help the algorithm reach more people. It helps to reach more people, and that way we can get the information further. And particularly on ground, the kind of information I'm about to read to you are the kind of information that is lacking in our community. I spoke to you about sovereignty belonging to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. That's section 14.2a. That is what you see scrolling on the screen. It is scrolling on the screen there. It is scrolling right there. That is what you see. We need that information. And how do you use the sovereignty? Section 14.2c. The participation by the people in their governance shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. And one of the provisions of this constitution is that you are a sovereign. Please listen to me. You watching me, you are a sovereign. But they've hid that from us for over 24 years. They are happy for us to know about the religion of Christianity and Islam, but they don't want to know the powers they possess within the constitution. They don't want us to know that. And we must begin to change that mindset. We need to share this information. This is where the next step of what I'm doing comes in. Really important. If you're joining us for the first time, please don't forget, subscribe to Citizen AY. Go ahead and subscribe to Citizen AY. Subscribe, hit the notification button, give us thumbs up, help us reach more people, because we need to grow this platform. We are close to 3,000, 2,700 and something, thereabouts. We need to build it more. Because the more you share the broadcast, if you can share it to 50, 100 of your friends, as many of them, and get them to share it as well, you reach more people because of the important information. It is obvious. One of the problems that we have in our communities in Nigeria is that many people do not know the constitution. In fact, many people grow up until 70, 80, even leave this earth without knowing that we have a constitution that we can use, powers that gives us powers within it. People have left this earth, born, raised children, grown old, and left this earth, not knowing that for 24 years now, that we, the people, we have powers as laid down, that you see scrolling across the screen within the 1999 Constitution. We know it's fraudulent. There's a lot of work. We are calling for the review of that Constitution to include a referendum. But that is where you and I come in. For us to be able to get Yoruba Nation, for example, we will require for a clause to be inserted into this constitution that would allow every part of Nigeria to now have a referendum to say if they want to be part of Nigeria or not. But that's a long process. But going back to where we are now, this is why it's important for us to know about those two powers. Once again, I'm going to read it to you on the screen. I'll see if I'll show you. Section 14.2a. Sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all, and I mean all its powers and authority. And that is what we need to understand. That you and I, we are sovereigns, and in fact, those in governance, they derive their powers of governing us from us because we are sovereigns. Now, how we can exercise those powers as sovereigns is very, very important that you understand the next step. Section 14.2c. The participation by the people in the government shall be in accordance with the provisions shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. Now, what does that mean? It means that as a sovereign, you actually have this power to question your government on everything, to hold them to account, to demand answers. You have that power. How you best use that power is to use it collectively, community by community, in every local government area. Of course, we all know that there are 774 local government areas in Nigeria. And those local government areas must begin to exercise the powers of Section 14.2a and 14.2c that you see on the screen. Because it is encouraging our people, and we need to teach our children, the young teenagers, the young adults, old, retired men and women, teach them about this constitution, because that is the only way that we can begin to hold our governors to account when they err, when they fail to comply with their own constitution. Because our role, the reason I'm telling you 14.2 and 14.2c, 14.2a and 14.2c is this. Our role as citizens is to actually monitor the government, because that is why it's saying the participation by the people in their governance shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. And one of the central provisions is that you are a sovereign, and as a sovereign you have certain powers that we have never used. I'm trying to encourage us to use those powers. Now, let's park 14.2 and 14.2c for one side for a minute. Let's go and look at what you see on the screen. This relates to Tani Olohun that you see on the screen. Again, we continue to call for his unconditional release. He should not spend one more day in any prison, and we should not be paying funds to release him. We should not the government should not be compelling us to pay funds to release him, because they know clear full well that those who are the Islamists who have put this in place to get him arrested, they are actually breaking the law. They are breaking the law. Now, there are 3 sections of the Constitution that I've been, I'm something of an expert when it comes to the Nigerian Constitution. I've been doing a lot of research on it. I've been doing back and forth. I used to do, and I still do I'm still doing right now. I'm bringing information to you about the Constitution. And before I was doing it religiously, section by section, until, of course, when I realized that the governance was insanely corrupt, and that what we needed in that time, we should have actually continued. We should have continued. So now we are continuing. We should have continued to raise the awareness, to saturate the community, so that people can actually stand up for themselves. And now that's what we're doing now. We're encouraging you. Please, if you're watching us for the first time and you're joining Citizen AY, please subscribe to Citizen AY, hit notification button, give us the thumbs up. Help us reach more people. I'm going to restream this broadcast later on Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power, on Facebook, because Facebook, I don't trust them anymore. They have been deliberately bringing the numbers down for Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Now, we're going to read this section. The reason why I had somebody say, oh yeah, he was abusing Allah or burning the Bible, the Quran and all of that. Whilst nobody condones burning anything, it's not breaking the rule of the nation. I'm trying to be very, very clear about this. The Constitution does not give anybody any power to arrest Tani Olohun. Does not. Especially when it comes to his practicing of his ancestral belief, Isheshe, or anything around that. He should not, the government should not, he shouldn't be arrested. He should not be even in the jail as we speak. He should be a free man. Because why? The Constitution states, section 1.3 of the Constitution states, if any other law is inconsistent with the provisions of this Constitution shall prevail, and all other laws shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void. Very, very important to understand that. It is really important. Because what does that mean? What does that mean in reality? What that means in reality is this. It means that the imams in the churches, who, remember I said, from the age of 4, they have been, all they've ever known all their life has been that religion. They've been teaching them about the religion and all of that stuff. So they've now come to see that religion as the law, as the one that overrides everything else. And that is why you hear them saying that in Ilorin, saying, no, Ilorin, we're not accepting anybody to carry out any, Isheshe, African spirituality, because they don't know that in actual fact we are all guaranteed. Many of them are unaware, and this is why I am suggesting that from here on, anybody who wants to open any church, any mosque, even Isheshe, they must all be taught about the laws of the land, because the laws of the land supersede the powers of any laws in the Bible or in the Quran. It supersedes it. So that section I just read to you now, that talks about if any other law is inconsistent with the provision of this constitution shall prevail, and that other law shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void. So what that means is that those who are saying Ilorin is a Fulani, it's wrong. It's wrong on two levels. First, the historical fact is that Ilorin has always been a Yoruba land. The name alone, Ilorin, so they, it's to press the iron, and that tells you a very strong clue that it is part of Yoruba land. Now, the second part of it that I want to read to you, it says, and this is very, very pivotal and important. It says, the government of the federation or of a state shall not adopt any religion as state religion. So that means that the Islamists in Ilorin, they don't know about this constitutional law. If they knew, they would not be telling the Isheshe people, no, you can't do that here. Because they will know that Isheshe has got an equal right as the Christians or Muslims to actually practice their own belief systems without interference. It is a secular nation in effect. And that is why we continue to speak up and say, the government must free Tani Olohun. We mustn't pay whatever fine they're trying to fine him. He's not done anything wrong. Very important that we emphasize that. And those who are trying to get him, trying to get him in jail for 50 years, it is really unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. We are calling for Tani Olohun to be released. Free Tani Olohun. Free Tani Olohun. Free him. We continue to urge all of us, support as much as you can. Now, the third one is what that's also important. I mean, these are just sections that I chose 3 very key points of the current constitution that explains exactly, in simple terms, the role of Christianity and Islam. And that's really important for us to understand. And those who are practicing Islam now, please come here and have a listen to this. Section 33:1 states, every person has a right to life, and no one shall be deprived intentionally of his life, save in execution of a sentence of court in respect of a criminal court in respect of a criminal offense of which he has been found guilty in Nigeria. It doesn't talk about any religion or anything coming about religion and then that person being jailed because they committed an offense against a religion. Really important to understand that. So it is important that those who are sort of saying, we don't accept it, Ilorin is a Muslim land, that they understand that they are actually breaking the law. And just because people in the northern part of Nigeria, the houses and others, have actually allowed or just stood by and watched how they burned Rebecca Samuel and another Yoruba person like that, doesn't mean that it's right. It is wrong, and we need to. That's why we need to raise awareness. I don't think many in the north even know the meaning of the meaning of the Constitution or the words in it, because all they've ever known has been and remains the Quran. But the Quran is not a constitutional document. The Quran is only a book, a religious book. That's it. It's only a religious book. And I wanted to state that. So those 3 points, please, I'd like you to hold on to it. I'd like you to share it to reach more people. We continue to ask for and demand the unconditional release of Tani Olohun. It is unacceptable what has happened to him. I've noticed that some people are trying to raise funds to free him, but what we need to do is to collectively exercise our powers. One of the first things I would urge us all to do right now is to memorize the words in this constitution. To memorize the words, like I've done now. If you memorize section 1.3. If any other law is inconsistent with the provisions of this constitution shall prevail, and that other law shall, to the extent of inconsistency, be void. Very, very important point to make there. And we need that, to be something that all of us, that we know it off head. Again, section 10. The government of the federation or of a state shall not adopt any religion as state religion. Again, to make sure that there is proper, fair guidance, and we are not having to, this person speaks is speaking in Fufude, that means that we can, I can do whatever and I can bypass the law. No, it is wrong. The law as written is what must be complied with. We are waiting. We do urge President, we urge the police commissioner to please, release Tani Olohun. It is unjust that he's in jail for 50 days. It's unjust, and that's why we've come out to talk about this. Please do share, leave comments, help us grow the platform to reach more people. And finally, like I said, we've seen instances in the north where every person has a right to life and no one shall be deprived intentionally of his life, save in execution of a sentence of a court in respect of a criminal offense of which has been found guilty in Nigeria. So that means that nobody, under the guise of any religion, has the right to take the life of any other citizen. They are actually breaking the law, and these are the things we need to teach. We have to teach the Muslims about this so that they are aware. We have to keep them abreast of what's going on. And I want every pastor and every imam, I'd like to see a place where the federal government can make it a law that before you practice, before you become an imam or a pastor or a rabbi or all of that, or a sheshe, sorry, before anything, you first need to know the Constitution of Nigeria, because far too often this process has been the other way around. Many of us have grown up knowing, believing that the Christianity and Islam is only the law that they need, and when that is not the case, they don't have any constitutional powers. The powers that the Constitution has supreme powers that will supersede either the Quran or the Bible. Simultaneously, it will override it, and that is what we're saying. We are saying that we need our people to understand. Here's where you come in. You can share this document, the document that you see on the screen now, in all your WhatsApp group. You can share this information, because this information is designed to what? To awaken the minds of the people who are listening to it. Because once you know that you have this power whereby you could tell the government that this is you can tell anybody that, look, this what you're saying about your religion as being the law is not right. In actual fact, the Constitution has more power than yourself, and that is where we have to really continue to awaken. And I'm calling on my Muslim brothers in that area of Ilorin. Take the time to study what you see on the screen. These are the religious laws, 3 key ones that have been pulled from the Constitution right now. They are the 3 key ones. They've been put in English so that you can follow that. And we urge you to please not to relent. You owe it as a duty to reduce friction and misunderstanding in the community, to actually ensure that before you even start teaching the people to adhere to Islamic laws, make sure that they understand that the law that supersedes everything else is not the Quran or the Bible. It is in fact the Constitution, because that is where the sovereignty has been bestowed upon we the people. That is really, really of immense importance that we do that. So let me see. President Tinubu, you need to do more for Yoruba in order to gain our pride back. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, okay. Vivian V. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hi, Vivian V. It's always welcome to, yeah, thank you so much. Let me just pin that right there. So, yeah, thank you. So, what am I saying? This young man here, he's merely exercising the 3 powers you see on the screen next to him. There is no justification whatsoever for putting him in chains. None whatsoever. There is no justification that will make him being illegally detained just. It is unjust. We reject it. We continue collectively to ask for his immediate release. And like I said, we need to make sure that what you see on the screen above in front of you, please, if you haven't taken a screenshot of that picture, of these pictures here, this one here, of this here, you need to take a screenshot of this and share it in your community. Now, we've done this in Yoruba and in English and in Igbo. There is an Igbo one. I'm going to try and find that for you. And in Pidgin English. Let's see if we can find that one. Let me show you what I mean. Because what we need, knowledge, you see, it's one thing to know something, but when you then know it, then you have to know how to use that knowledge. And that's what we're trying to do here. To use this knowledge, to one, share it with you, and to tell you how to use it. So that way, it prevents anybody from making the wrong decisions based on their religion. Because the religion does not have constitutional powers. None of the religion, neither Islam nor Christianity, has constitutional powers. They don't. They do not supersede the constitution or replace it. No, they remain below the constitution, and the constitution is the one that is supreme. Because it says here, if any other law is inconsistent with the provisions of this constitution shall prevail, and that other law shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void. Now, these are things that we want our people, be it Icheshe, be it Christianity, be it Islam, that we need to teach this. In fact, we should be encouraging our youth, our children. We should be teaching this to our children from young. If people can be taken to church and be taught about religion from the age of 4, and taken to the mosque from the age of 4 in Sunday school and the KU class, the same thing can be done when it comes to our constitution, because the constitution is the bedrock of our nation, and we need to know those powers that are in it, as well as how to use the powers. That is what we are really trying to emphasize here. So if you're watching the broadcast for the first time, of course you're watching Season AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Please don't forget, subscribe, hit the notification button, give us thumbs up, help us reach more people. And we're still on the matter. It is unjust for the police commissioner of Ilorin to allow for this unjust illegal incarceration of a free young man to continue. She must take action based on the Constitution alone, nothing else. Based on the Constitution alone, she must abide by the Constitution. No politics, no religion. It has to be the application of the Constitution. Based on that, Tani Olohun should be released without question. And I want to urge each and every one of us that this is now a time for us to make sure that we all begin to learn this Constitution. I have often said it, even though we are going for Yoruba Nation, which is what our goal is, we are still currently in Nigeria, and it is important for us to know the laws that is being used that gives us powers, that places responsibility on us, so that we can apply those laws, as well as hold those we elect or governors to account. Because like I said, Our job is not just to just be citizens. Our job is to monitor the governance, because that's why you see what keeps scrolling on the screen there. It tells you, it says there, the participation by the people in their governance shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. That means that our active participation in our governance is ensured, because why? We are sovereigns, and it is through our active participation that we will be better able to ensure that our governance do not take missteps. So we need to have this information. The Bible and the Quran cannot hold our governance to account. The Bible and the Quran cannot hold our governance to account. If you are talking about the Bible or the Quran, then all you are simply talking about is a question of moral conscience. But conscience is not what is needed here. What is needed here is for the people to comply with the laws of the 1999 Constitution, which ensures that Tani Olohun has every right to stand up for Isheshe and to encourage others. And now that he's been illegally arrested, we need to join hands to call for his immediate release, to now use this opportunity now to raise the level of awareness about the Constitution of Nigeria to every part of our community, including the churches, including the mosques, including the Isheshes. We need to begin that process, and that is why what you can do before you leave today is to take a screenshot of what you see on the screen and share it within your own community. But this is for Yoruba people here in Ilorin. Now let's see if I can show you the one that I have for 1 second. Let me just see if I can find that. I need to just check it first. So is it camera? So let me see. Let me see if I can do, if it will come up, because I have done some work on this and sometimes it may come up. Hang on. Okay. So I'm trying to show you, because I've done it in different languages, and I'm trying to see if I can find it. So let me see. Okay, let me see. I think, is that the one? I'm just trying to source it for you all so that you can see it better. 1 second. I've done it in, you can see it in the English, you can see the Yoruba. Now let's see if I've got it in, yeah, okay. I'm going to show you the Igbo version, for example, not of this one, but of the section 14.2a. So let me show you that, for example, what I mean. You see, this is the Igbo version of the 14.2a and 14.2c. So my sister, Vivian V, can you see what's on the screen? I don't know if you want to call in. You can see what is on the screen there. I'm not very good at Igbo. So, ni here ya si otu uputa na ochichi bu nke ndi Nigeria. Bu ndi ochichi site usoro iwu a na-enweta ikike na ikike niile. So that's what it says there about section 14.2a, which means sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority. And then 14.2c, of course. Again, in Igbo, I'll read that again. Ntiye akada nke ndi madu ni ime ochichi aka aga ahu naka dika iwu nke iwu asiri di. So, loosely that means the participation by the people in the government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this constitution. We need to have this translated to our people. And I want to take this opportunity to ask the federal government of Nigeria to be able to actually drastically reduce ethnic tensions in that nation, to drastically reduce ethnic tensions. This constitution should be translated in its entirety. And of course, the section that I've already translated here, that you see on the screen, this that you have translated here, should be something that the government should actually promote and share within our community immediately, and explain to us, to people, the need for us to really ensure whatever religion you are, this constitution supersedes that religion. And that way, it would ensure that those who are practicing the religions of Islam or Christianity and Isheshe will understand that whatever they want to do when they're practicing their religions has to be within the confines of the Constitution of Nigeria. Really, really, really. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you, Vivian. Sorry. Oh, it's okay. Okay, it's so cool, lady. Okay, thank you, Vivian V. I appreciate. I wasn't sure. I don't know. That's why I said I assumed. Okay. Could you do me a favor, Vivian? Could you translate this? Let me show you what I want you to translate. I'll see if I can show you. Can you translate it in Isoko as well? This one here. 1 second. Since we are doing that now, I actually want to do. This is a good point. Now, 1 second. 1 second. Let me just get this done. I want to show you. Since you are watching on there, I'm going to ask you to help me do that, if you don't mind. Where is it now? I'm going to show you what I'd like you to translate. It's still part of the process, but nonetheless, it is what we need. So we need to translate it into our local languages, because this will aid the understanding for our people. It doesn't mean that I don't want Yoruba Nation. Please don't misunderstand me. But whilst we are within Nigeria, we need this information to be able to ensure that we get the best out of the current situation, knowing our rights and how to use it. So let me just show you what I mean now. So that the one? Is that the one? Yeah. Okay. So, Vivian V, what is on? You see what is on the screen there? 14.2a and 14.2c, which I've already, it is the same thing scrolling across the screen. There. I wonder, could you do that for us in? Can you do that for me in or send it to me? On via WhatsApp. Here's the number. The number is what you're seeing across the screen there, scrolling across the screen. That's the number there. 447300 365 6 I think it's 2. Yeah, 602. So 447300 365 602 602. So if you could do that for us, translate it. That'd be great. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. So type anything for you. I can use Google Translate. Please do so. That would be great. And then you can adjust it, because sometimes it's not always right. So please just text me on that number that I was on the screen, and I will share this as well with our people, because that's what we need to do. We need this information in our local languages, because that way the people will understand the constitutional powers that they possess. So lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that, my sister. It's I really love that. Yeah. Thank you so much. So the number is on there. Let me just, in fact, I'll put it in there for you too. So I'll go put at Vivian V, so you can take it, make it easier for you. So let me see. So I'm gonna just put that up there. So I'll put the number on here. Here's the number. So here we go. +44. I'm just gonna make sure you have it. I know you have it, but just to make sure. 44 7300. So if you leave the message on there, then I will then share it. And maybe what will happen is I would actually like to bring you on the show. Actually, there you go. I'd like to bring you on the show. That way, and then you can talk about it in a way that is actually, that's relevant. So, but that's not for now, obviously, because we have a pressing issue now of Tani Olohun, which we want to be released. And of course, we continue to ask for the release of Mazin and Kanu. But that goes without saying. But anyway, thank you so much, my sister Vivian V. I appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that. So the number is there, and you can just send me a text In fact, let me see if that number is on. I might actually be able to take 1 or 2 calls if people wanted to call in on this issue of Tani Olohun, because I really am very exercised about it. It is concerning that this young man is being illegally jailed. So, but you can see, knowing the Constitution in our local languages is going to be of enormous benefit to our people, because once they know it, they will know the steps they can take to begin to hold their governors to account. I know many people are telling us that, oh, people are too hungry, they won't hear. But you see, when you have knowledge is always a powerful tool, because once you have that knowledge, it will be able to give you opportunity to do things that you would not normally think of. So with that said, I hope people will take this on board seriously. Share this message, help us reach more people. You are, of course, watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. I'd like you all to please really not put ourselves in the position of Tani Olohun. All he was simply doing is exercising his right to freedom of expression and talk about things from the point of view of speaking up for Isheshe, because Isheshe has been prosecuted. It has been prosecuted over and over. Particularly in that area of Ilorin, there has been attempts from time immemorial to ensure that Yoruba people in Ilorin, not the only practice Islam in Ilorin, and that is wrong, because as you can see clearly under section 10 of the Constitution, it talks about the government of the federation of a state shall not adopt any religion as state religion. Now, what they are doing by the imams going out and saying you can only practice the religion of Islam in this country is trying to replace the Constitution with Islamic law. That is not right. That is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. In the north, for the north, you can say, fine, you want to adopt Sharia law, but that is very different in Ilorin, and even in the north, the adoption, trying to adopt it and say we're going to practice Sharia law, it is still a very contentious issue, because when we go and look at that very issue of those 12 states, it was an illegal imposition. There is no part of the whole of Nigeria did not accept the Sharia law. This was simply signed into law by 12 governors, or 10 or 12 governors. It was signed into law by them without proper referendum in that place, in put in place for the people to decide if they actually wanted to have the Sharia law as part of their own governance in Nigeria. This was an imposition by a group which is illegal, and in many respects, we're going for the struggle. It actually gives us, they've actually in a curious way set a precedent for those of us who are going for self-determination, because Sharia law was never something that we, the people, accepted. What should have happened with Sharia law is that this should have been presented to the whole of the of Nigeria, not signed into law by governors independently of the people in 12 states. That is illegal. That is unconstitutional. That is the reality of what we face. This happened back in 1999, 2001. As soon as they started doing the Constitution, they suddenly, governors between 1999 and 2001, 12 states signed into law Sharia law without seeking the permission, the agreement of the people by way of a public referendum to say, we are considering this. What do you think? They simply imposed it. And that is what is a problem, fundamental issue with the Sharia law. But many people are not willing to talk about it. But we are now in a situation where, with President Tinubu there, And with the fact that it's now allowed us to have Isheshe Day in Nigeria, in Yoruba land, and for that we are very grateful. And we want to thank the president. We want to thank Professor Wole Soyinka for the enormous work that he has been doing. He's been doing enormous work promoting and supporting and encouraging and actually speaking up for Isheshe, because that is part of our culture as Yoruba people. And for some time under the Buhari regime and even before that, it was obvious that there were severe restrictions on what we, the Isheshe people, could do in our own land. Keep in mind, Isheshe is part of who we are. Yet, the people, the religions of Islam and Christianity were given room to do whatever they want, whilst the people, the Isheshe that all of us in Yoruba land are born with, is being relegated to something that had no voice. So we are grateful to Professor Wole Soyinka for the work that has been doing, tireless work he's been doing. Here's the thing about Professor Wole Soyinka. Many of you know he's a Nobel laureate. Is the man who wrote The Great Story, and the man died. And I've read that book, and actually I had a book bind version of it, black, and I read that story, and I was always sort of, you know, and the way, the language and everything else. But it is not interesting that the same person who wrote And the Man Died has stood staunchly, spoken up for Isheshe at every opportunity. At every opportunity. And we call on Professor Wole Soyinka at this point, however we to also join us on this, on calling for Tani Olohun. And he may well already be doing something. And if it is, great. But it's very important that we actually, acknowledge the work he's doing. Yeah. Let me see. No shoot. Yes. So NYC from other regions who happen to posted to Sharia states no longer have the protections that should be afforded to them. Thank you very much, T Majek. That's a very good point that you raised there. In fact, you see, here are the unintended consequences of importing a Sharia law. You see, Sharia law is by its own, just saying it is religious. And once it is religious, it is always going to run counter to the constitution of the land. And that's why I'm still saying that they are saying it in section 10 here. Unless somebody comes up and put it up and says Sharia law now sits in the constitution. It isn't in the constitution. It isn't, because the constitution supersedes any religion, be it Christian, be it Muslim. It supersedes it. So they're trying to bring it in by the back door, obviously. So that's a very important point you make there. So T Majek said, and let me pin that here for others to see as well. Let me pin that up here for others to see. So he said, so from other regions, so National Union of is something, whatever it's called, NYSC anyway. From the other regions who happen to be posted to Sharia states no longer have the protection that should be afforded to them. Exactly. So if you are coming from a non-Sharia law state into a Sharia law state, how does that work? These are the kind of intricacies and real problems that has not been thought about. And then, so when that is why those of us in Yorubas in Ilorin should ensure that there is no doubt that Nigeria is a secular nation according to the constitution. Secular in the sense that you are free to practice Christianity, Islam, religion, Isheshe. You are free to practice it. The Islamic states are trying to tell us that no, they only believe in Sharia law and Islam. And that means that with the action of those who are telling us to believe in one Nigeria, they are actually dividing one Nigeria. Because if you one part of it you are telling you must, if you're in a Sharia state, then you are not free to practice your own Isheshe. You are not free to practice Christianity. And that is not one Nigeria. The very action of having the Sharia laws in 12 states is actually breaking up one Nigeria. It is. So, but nonetheless, what we are here to do, this is we're having a slightly wider discussion here about the Constitution and its ramifications and its impact. And the 2001 action of the 12 northern states that unilaterally, without speaking to the citizens, without carrying out a referendum, what those 12 states did is exactly what this constitution represents. Because the military that took over power, they wrote the laws and everything without seeking permission by way of a referendum from the people. That's exactly what the 12 northern states did. So we have to put a stop to that by participating in our governance. Now, the thing to really remember in all of this now is that the Constitution, in fact, they didn't write it themselves. What they did is a lot of copy and paste. They took constitution from other countries and then just take away some places and put Nigeria, and that was all they did. That was really literally all they did. They didn't actually write anything, and you can see it from a lot of the things that is coming through now. There was no thought process behind it, and that's why we're saying having the people's participation in this process is so extremely vital. Now we are now in a situation where now this young man in the picture, Tani Olohun, is illegally detained for 50 days. We are calling for his immediate release. No ifs, no buts, and we are calling for the government to do the right thing. The police commissioner of Ilorin, let us get her name out for us, and we're calling on her to take collective action, to free Tani Olohun. So let me just get his picture up. Police commissioner for Ilorin. Let me see. So let me see. I might even do something whilst on air now. So I might even do something on air right now. So let's just see. Because I firmly believe that we should all do what we can to make sure that the police commissioner of Ilorin, and here is her name, and she's doing her job. She's come out and spoke for that everybody should respect each other. Great. So Eboluwa Rotimi Adelesi is her name. Great job, Mrs. Eboluwa Rotimi Adelesi. She's the first female commissioner of police in Kwara State. So we call on her to please make sure that she exercises. We are showing her this. I know she knows it. We're calling on Mrs. Eboluwa Rotimi Adelesi to please ensure that this young man here is immediately freed. He's done nothing wrong. This young man, Tani Olohun, is immediately freed. And nothing more, nothing less. He must be freed. He's not done anything. He's not broken any laws. He's only complying with our constitution, and that is something that they need to really make sure that they understand. So I'm just trying to put it here. So there she is, a lovely lady that she is, and we are grateful for that she spoke. I believe that let me see if I can find a video of her speaking where she mentioned one or two things. Let's find that video. Police commissioner of let me find that video for you. So to give context to what we're saying, so let's see, because on the basis of what she's saying alone, that is clear evidence. There is nothing in the constitution that says that somebody can be jailed if they speak wrongly of any religion. There is nothing, not in the Nigerian constitution. And they have to also bear in mind that Isheshe has been attacked remorselessly by those practicing Islam in Ilorin. They have been. There's clear evidence. I have done videos where the imam was telling a woman practicing Isheshe in her own compound, no, we don't want it here. You cannot do it by the river. They have no such powers. And we are calling on the police commissioner to remind those Muslim practitioners in Ilorin that they have no such powers. And we are taking the opportunity to show them on the screen for them to learn about the constitution. Now you see why it is important, even though we want to go for Yoruba Nation, that for as long as we're in Nigeria, we need to know what is in this constitution to hold those we elect to office to account. So let me just quickly get that for you. I'm trying to find this in get that, so YouTube. So let me just see her name. So Commissioner speaks to Commissioner Denisi speaks to so Police Commissioner. Let me get. I'll just get that off for you now, and we can show that. Ilorin speaks to the people, speaks on religion. So let me just see if I want to get that up for you quickly. So let's hear what she's saying, and that gives us a clue to where this is going. Let me see if I can find it for you. Let me see now. Let me see. I'm trying to find that for you. So 1 second, please. Just bear with me. So we continue to ask for the unconditional release of our brother Tani Olohun. He must be released. No ifs, no buts. We will not relent until he's released. And please, of course, if you want to raise funds, fine. But you see, we have to be careful. Once we raise funds and we start paying to free somebody who has done nothing wrong, we are setting a bad precedent, and they will be doing that. And it becomes, as you all know, the bad governance that we have pervades the system. They will do that as another gravy train. So we need to put a stop to it by standing up for our collective rights as stated in the Constitution. Now, let us look at this again. Sorry, 1 minute. I'm trying to. Okay, so now. So the song is telling us, please take the opportunity to go and download Citizen AY, the platform we speak to our. Download the song. The song How Long Una Go Dey Suffer. I've got the song on iTunes and Spotify. You can just download it, and you'll be, by doing that, you'll be helping Citizen AY to be able to continue the great work we're doing, particularly in the area of the Constitution, because I believe that we need to deepen the knowledge of our current Constitution as it currently is, because we all know for the fact that Nigeria is still going to be in existence for the next, at least for the next 4 years minimum, because of the fact of the recent elections. Now, things can happen in between. Nobody has the crystal ball. But why I'm Oscar calling on you, whatever you can do to help Citizen AY in this struggle of raising the level of awareness within all our communities, i.e. in the particular area of the constitutional awareness, please, I'd like you to help us in that way. Be it giving donations, giving stars, by just even subscribing or getting your friends to subscribe to Citizen AY. You will be helping in sharing and reaching more people, because we need this knowledge to be shared, and we reduce the possibility of actions such as the illegal arrest of Tani Olohun happening, because we are sharing the knowledge that will reduce the likelihood of it coming up in future. Now, let us do something here. 1 second, I'm just going to try and put that there. Paste. So I want to hear the police commissioner, because I remember she spoke, and I wanted to see. Let me see if I can find it now. Yeah. Okay, now. So we're going to quickly hear this one now. So I'll show you what she said.
So just a few designs.
So I want to just show you what she said, because I don't really want to do anything too much more. So there. So we're going to hear what she said now. So just give me a second, because we need to hear and refresh our minds about what she said, and I'll be able to dissect a bit more into what she said, roughly. So let's see what will come up in a minute. So 1 minute. Now, let us hear what she said here recently. So we need to hear what she said, and I want you to just hear it yourself. So let us just play that. Again, keep in mind, we're calling for Tani Olohun to be released. So let me just put a picture of him there. So when let's hear her now for a minute. Now. You see, so she's. So I want to hear her. I don't want to hear others. I want to hear her speak. So here's the police commissioner speaking here. So that's what we want to do here. Let's listen to her. Now let's listen to her. She's speaking in Yoruba as well. So now let's.
No, well, sir. No, well, sir.
So,
It's lower by here.
so we're gonna hear her. I'll translate where necessary. She's gonna be speaking in Yoruba. She's the police commissioner, so she will speak. So
we consider you as one of us. In ensuring the security of
Always wonder.
those when you are doing your training, create good morals, because what I told you, and pé oríṣiríṣi tí kò lè wá sí notice me. So I said we should call some of you, and I really appreciate Alagomo Ibrahim for calling me. Because bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe rí grace Ọlọ́run ni mo fi wà ní ibi báyìí aago 7:00 ní mi sùn láàárọ̀. Láti Èkó ni wọ́n ti pè mí ní tó 12 wọ́n ní kí n wo fóònù wọ́n send nǹkan síbẹ̀. Nípa téèyàn kan ń sọ̀rọ̀ pé wọ́n wà ní ilé babaláwo pé àwọn aláàfáà fẹ́ pa babaláwo kan. It's a pity my DC DC again kò sí ní ibi báyìí nsìn. Ó jáde ó ṣiṣẹ́ mọ́jú wo àárọ̀ yìí ni. A lọ sí ilé woman tí controversy wà ní orí ẹ̀ gbà yẹn pé wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe ìṣẹ̀ṣe ní òru yẹn. I called all the tactical teams, gbogbo àwọn tactical teams yẹn. They were surprised kí ló dé, and they know that if I come on air at that time, wọ́n pé obìnrin yẹn lóru yẹn. Ní bá sọ̀rọ̀ náà ní nǹkan bíi around past 1. Mo ní kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀, wọ́n rí pé area ẹ̀ calm. Wọ́n wá sọ pé ibì kan ní Òpó Olówó pé ni wọ́n wà. Mo wá ní okay kí wọ́n bá mi lọ sí Òpó Olówó. Unfortunately, wọn ò rí.
now she's talking about her interaction with the lady that was sort of approached, attacked. Can we say that the Fulani men? I mean, I've got a video where the woman. How can people who are men of God, in their own words, go and approach a woman? Almost 10 of them, and she was stood there, and they were castigating her for simply saying, "I want to practice Isheshi," which is her right according to the Constitution. But anyway, we'll come back to that. Let us listen to her for a little bit more.
Kí wọ́n ti ń pè wọ́n rí èèyàn yẹn, àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa fò kiri bí ara ẹ̀jẹ̀. Àwọn tó wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó ń pè mí ò jẹ́ kí àwọn náà rí ohun ọ̀hún tí a ṣe get address ẹ̀jẹ̀. Wọ́n tún wá ń fò wọ́n tún wá ń gbé kí wọ́n ti ń pè picture àfààní.
Let me forward to where she says something about the Constitution here. I'm trying to forward there, so let's see.
Àwọn èèyàn wà ní gbogbo baba ńlá Fúlàní kan sọ fún mi nígbà tí mo ní pé àwọn tó wà níbẹ̀ nǹkan ó ní gbogbo àwọn Fúlàní táwọn wà ń Kwara wọn ò tó kọjú gbogbo àwọn Fúlàní tó wà ní baba ńlá yẹn. Gbogbo Fúlàní tó wà ní Kwara state ó ní wọn ò tó kọjú wọn. Rí yẹn kẹsọ pé kẹtì ẹ̀rọ ìjọba lọ́wọ́ kẹrọ orílẹ̀-èdè lọ́wọ́ kẹrù àwọn ọmọ ọ̀yá yín lọ́wọ́ pé tí wọ́n ń jí gbé tí wọ́n ń pa anyhow.
Fọyín tẹ́ ẹ ṣe ń darapọ̀.
Nǹkan tẹ́ ẹ ṣe wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí máa lọ sórí fídíò
ìgbà wáṣẹ̀ àtún àṣà òun náà
sórí
ní ẹwà yìí.
social media ẹ lọ sponsor àwọn èèyàn. Nobody is interested in your time. Bàbá ti gbé kékeré.
Àti Mùsùlùmí.
Hooliganism ni mo kà sí wájà kíníjàgbọ́n.
Yes.
Wọ́n ti ń bára wọn jà.
Now, if you listen to what she said there, she's saying she considers the actions of those that went to approach that lady hooliganism. And that is what I'm trying to get at here. We need to really understand that when they do things like this, so yes, the CP was AK before Tani Olohun was kidnapped via human trafficking after midnight from Ibadan to Ilorin, jurisdiction by L9 police and Lawani's agents. Wow, you see that? Thank you for that update. Waris, you know, do my brother. So he was kidnapped. Again, he should be freed. If this is what, if this man was illegally kidnapped from Ibadan, I mean, this again, freedom of expression. Freedom to, that's illegal. That is illegal. And now they are not asking to pay. People are now contributing funds. We shouldn't be silent on this. We shouldn't be silent. Thank you for that update. Let me pin that here. So yes, that's CP acting as a mediator, like everything was okay, but before, yeah, exactly. So let me pin that for those of you who are watching this broadcast now. So let me. You see, citizens, I want us not to, because I can see from what she's saying, there's a lot of things that she's talking about. I actually think that in the UK, when the police, and it's not down to her, it's down to the training that they received in Nigeria. The police in the UK, when you are having discussions, I mean the good ones, when you are having discussions or interactions, the police will only release information that is a general information. They will not release specific information about, oh, I spoke to her this time of the night, and they will not release all of that, because that, they believe it's got to be private. They need to respect the privacy of that person. They will make general statements, but this speaks to the decay and the real failure of our system of governance, and even the police system itself. You know, like I said, it's nothing personal to her at all, and I'm glad that she spoke up. But I would have hoped that from what my brother here, what is just released, that stated that he's stating that he was human trafficked at midnight from Ibadan to Ilorin by police and Lawani's agent. It's wrong. So they spend time doing this, arresting somebody who's an Isheshe, but they don't spend that time to learn about the constitution and how the religion of Islam must operate within the constitution of Nigeria. It is terrible. It is terrible. Let's listen. I'm trying to find something more about. Now, the only thing I would say, the only thing from what I've heard her say here now, I think she was referring to the Isheshe, and one of the things that I would say is that I would hope that this is where this kind of meeting, where they discuss, we're having a meeting like this, I would have said that it would have been totally impartial in what she said. But it looks like she's making statement. But let's just hear. That could be just from what I heard. But I sense there might be a little bit, it could be better handled, but that's just me. But, you know, like I said, it's not, she's doing a great job in bringing them to the table. That's a very good sign. Please don't misunderstand me. But I'm just saying that we have to be careful in making any, saying that one, you know, because that way some people may take that as a way to support them. But the key thing is the job of the police is to be impartial and to ensure that there is compliance with the law as it is written down. That is what the police should be doing. Now let's
I consider it nonsense. And you see how we don't pay to detect anybody and prosecute anybody. Somebody should people relate. Gbogbo àwọn kíkílẹ̀ ń dé ibi tí èmi ti wá gbogbo ẹ̀ náà ń ṣe àdẹ̀bára wa jà nígbà léyà báyìí àbúrò mi ni aso rest in peace gbogbo wa in fact mo lọ sí kíná láti.
So she's telling them that she practices Isheshe in, you know, and she's talking about that. That's fine. But I really want to go to where she talks about the constitution. Let me see if she mentions that. And I would hope to hear that she talks about the constitution. Let me see. I don't want any.
Gbọ́rọ̀ tí wọ́n sọ ẹ máa ṣe ààrẹ wọ́n ní ọkálùkù máa sọ̀rọ̀ tó dẹ̀ máa gbọ́ tó máa sọ ọkà tí ó dùn ní ẹ̀mí ẹ máa like page ẹ dẹ̀ máa ṣe ààrẹ pẹ̀lẹ́pọ̀ àgbẹ̀dẹ̀ wa.
So
this is not what we are looking for. This is not the development we are looking for. Àwa nìkan ni everybody ń gbé wa. Though àwọn kan náà wọ́n ní peace ní area wọn, but it must be religion tá à ń jà fún.
The only thing I would say from what I've heard here is I would hope I was hoping to hear quotation of sections of the Constitution, because this is what I would propose. Again, I'm saying that because this is what I really am focused on. What she's saying, there's nothing bad with trying to talk to both sides to make them see that no, we shouldn't be talking about religion from that point of view. But the law settles that argument, is what I'm saying. The Constitution settles that argument, because once you read to both sides, and they're on the table there, I was hoping she would read it, and that should happen next. That if any law is inconsistent with the provisions of this constitution shall prevail, and that other law shall, to the extent of this inconsistency, be void. That would send a message to both sides, both Isheshe and Islam, that the Constitution of Nigeria has the final say, not their religion or Isheshe. That is what I'm hoping for. But like I said, I'm not here to judge her, but I'm just here to try and this is what we should be doing, and I'm trying to put that forward for us all. Let me see. So there's no court order warrant served during his kidnapping and trafficking from Ibadan to Ilorin deposition by exactly. So these are Lawani agents. So these are, if it is indeed that the Lawani agents grab this man, they should all be arrested. But again, I'm trying to trawl through what she's saying now to see if there's at any point she talked about the Constitution and what it says, because that is one of the things that I would have expected her to actually quote at the meeting. But let's listen on. Let's go ahead. So we're not talking. No. So I'm trying to see if she says it.
Are you a professional looking?
So sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. Sorry. Let's just stop that now. I'll pull that away. I'm gonna have to play that video in a much more better setting later on, but I don't want it to anything to do with the adverts and all that. It comes in. I'm not happy with that. So I just want to quickly make sure that because it's very, very important. Yes, it is a traditional religion. Yes, Vivian, it is. Yeah, yes, it is a traditional religion. It is something that we are born with. Yes, it is. It is a traditional religion. In essence, yes. Let me reply you quickly, Vivian. So hang on. So let me do that now. Well, actually, let me qualify that. It is a spiritual. It's a spiritual African spiritual spiritualism. So I won't call it religion. It is African spiritualism. That's the best way I will put it. African spirituality. It is what we are. Many of us, the Ifa and all of that. It's all related to that. And it's a way of life. It's not just somebody telling us, the people would, when they do Ifa and all of that stuff, and they worship the Oshun, Oya, Shango, Yemoja, Ogun, and all of that. It is part of who we are. So I hope that answers your question, Vivian. So I am reading as we go along, but let me just find this thing for you about what the woman is saying. I'm trying to find, I want to hear because what is happening now is that the police should, in my view, from the video I'm seeing, it doesn't look like they've talked about the Constitution and what the law says. And that is what they must do. But they're focusing on trying to end the argument from the point of view of, reasonable, talking about Jesus Christ, God and everything else. They need to focus on the job of the police. As far as I understand, it should be impartial and focus on the law, and they should stand fully on the law, nothing else. That is my understanding. But let me see what it's saying here. I want to play this back for you. It's going to just show. What is it? Here we go.
What are you àwọn àríjẹ níbi ìdàrú, àwọn tó ń tì wá, wọn ò sí níbí. Tí ẹ̀mí ẹ̀ bá ti bọ́, tí ẹ̀ ló ti parí.
So that's what I'm see. All of this is trying to just placate I don't sense, and that is the issue here. This is the issue. I do not sense, and that's just my own take on it. I do not sense that what you are seeing on the screen that I'm showing you has been discussed even in training with any of the officers. Because straight away, this is something that everybody in the police should be aware of. What they are doing is talking about trying to placate and warn about loss of life, and once you know, which is fine, you can do that. But you're not really solving the problem. You are really trying to deal with the symptom. You're dealing with the issue when it started. What we are doing by talking about this constitution now is by making people know that they have this right and they use it, it becomes the first point of action. So the question I would be asking is, Afa, are you aware of the Constitution of Nigeria, section 1.3? Isheshe Babalawo, are you aware of the Constitution, section 1.3? That's the question. If they say yes, would you mind reading it to me? They will both read it. If they don't know it, then the policeman will say, in the Constitution, this is what it states. These people, the reason why I'm telling you is because the Constitution gives them the right to practice anywhere, and you cannot go against it. So it shuts down any argument. That is what we need to do. And that is why I am encouraging us in our communities to learn to learn the Constitution, to know the laws of the land that override, that supersedes any religion. Very, very important. So, I mean, I'm seeing the video, but it's obvious to me that they haven't done that at all. So they're talking about things. They're talking about all of that. But you see, that is all of this is just dealing with the symptoms. The real fundamental issue is the lack of knowledge of those in Ilorin of what the Constitution actually says. That is the problem. That is what is evident in what you are seeing on the screen now. We continue to ask for the unconditional release of Tani Olohun. And the more I am hearing this video, the more I am more convinced that we mustn't relent. We need to, from the video that I've just seen right now, I've only seen the police commissioner and everybody else talk in general terms about what needs to be done to solve this problem. The federal government of Nigeria need to get on this immediately, quickly. Begin to facilitate the training, the teaching of this section of the Constitution in the areas where there are religious tensions, because this will douse the religious tensions. Just sitting, calling people into a room and say, oh, stop fighting. Oh, no, live together. You're not going to solve the problem. When the law is clear about what it allows for and doesn't allow, that is the start point to solve the problem. And that is what I am showing you. And we can begin to do that ourselves in our community. Sorry. Oh boy. I hope you are following what we're saying here with intent. It is very, very important. I'm going to try and see if I can get the let me see if I can do this now. 1 minute. I'm trying something here. I'm going to try something right away, because I want to try. I don't want to just talk anymore. I want to try and really do something about this situation. So I'm going to ask. They may or may not, but we're going to transit on air right now. Let me see. So let's just try now. Let's see if it works. I don't know. Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm gonna have to do it another time, but I won't do that now. But what I'm trying to get here is this. Get to here. You can see now that there's a problem here with the situation that we have on our hand. It is obvious that the police, they are not aware. It seems to me now, from what I'm saying, that even the police are not aware of the constitutional laws. And that's a problem. Even the police are not aware. Yeah? Yeah. So Vivian, love it. Thanks for the clarification. Since Africans and all these borrowed religions is trying Islam is a borrowed religion, and again threatening our Ise, say African and see African spiritualism is a big no. Exactly. So threatening our Ise, saying that African spiritualism is a big no. Exactly. We need to really and like I said this earlier in the broadcast. Every time that we reject our own Isheshe, we are practicing a kind of a deep self-hate, because it is part of who we are. It is part of our ancestors. And when we reject that, we are rejecting ourselves and our ancestors whilst embracing religions of Islam and Christianity. There's nothing wrong in practicing it, but you need to embrace what is part of you. And that is what we really need to understand in all of this. And that is what I'm really trying to, I keep making this point over and over and over. But going back to the police, like I said here, going back to the police, you're welcome, Vivian V. Welcome very much. Now, what I do want to really make sure that we get clear is that from the video that I've been showing you with the police, they've been having general discussions about solving the problem. And that is what you remember when when El-Rufai says he's going to solve the problem in South Kaduna. He will sit the Hausa side down, the Fulani side down, they have a discussion, and will tell them that's what must happen. They don't make any reference to the Constitution and what it states. And that is exactly the same thing that the police commissioner is doing here, I'm afraid. That is exactly what she's doing here. It is not, please, I'm not out to attack her. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the procedure, the system that we have in resolving conflict, particularly religious conflict, is devoid of the very important document, which is the Constitution of Nigeria. It's like it's put to one side. Forget that Constitution. What I'm telling you is what must happen. That is a problem. And that is why you need to know that Constitution. That is why I am spending a lot of time and effort. And please, we welcome support, super chats, thanks, donations to the account you see, PayPal, however you can help us, because we need to do a lot of research. And I'm still insistent that on Citizen AY and Oduduwa TV Radio, we would like to actually translate that constitution into Yoruba language, in its entirety. I've been doing bits of it, but it's such a big job that it actually needs to be, we need to give it to somebody to do on our behalf, get it done, and then we begin to share it out as and when we can, to people in communities. Or, failing that, impress upon the federal government to actually translate the constitution into our languages with immediate, in fact, as a matter of urgency, because that way the people can now be involved in their governance. You cannot be involved in your governance if you don't know or understand what the Constitution says about your government, the powers you possess. If you don't know it, and if you don't speak English, that further removes you away from the process of governance. That is why this is so important. And it would actually, in knowing the Constitution, it will resolve a lot of religious tension within our community, because everybody will know what the law is, and they will know if their religion, doing anything in their religion, will go against that law or not. And based on that, it will inform their actions, be it Christian, be it Muslim, be it Isheshe. That is what we really are trying to get at here. So I'm just trying to really, just talking, one of the things that we're very good at in Nigeria and indeed in Africa is we talk about things. We talk about it. Oh, this happened. But yes, okay. And we listen. Yes, and we can talk. But what if you notice what I'm trying to do now is to really steer the discussion back to the absolute. What are the absolutes? The absolutes are what is written in our constitution. And as we know, the constitution supersedes any religion. It supersedes it. It is no doubt, no ifs, no buts. It supersedes any religion. Yeah. See, he say yes. Okay, that's what he say. I said, okay, I see what you mean. Yes. I understand, Vivian. I understood. I picked that up as soon as you were doing it. Thank you so much. Thanks for the clarification, my sister. I appreciate that. So now, you see, because I could see that I'm going to show you the video again if I can find it. The commissioner and the people that were talking, they were just talking from the point of view of oh, this is what happened. That's what happened. I don't, there is the absolute here is the Constitution. And when you are trying to resolve a situation, the absolute has to be in the center of it to actually resolve that dispute right there and then, so that both sides will not have to come back. They will have to comply with what is in that Constitution and say, this is what it says. And that informs their actions. So unless this Constitution is something that those in government have to be abiding by. Not just look at it now and then. They have to, when anything to do with religion, that's where we need to go. And that is of immense importance. That is why I'm sharing this particular section with everybody. If you are watching this broadcast and you haven't shared this broadcast, please, I urge you, share it. Because we don't do tittle-tattle on this platform. We only come on this platform to speak truth to power, to empower, to encourage, to share knowledge, to make us be able to have functioning local government areas using the powers that we have within the same Constitution. Many of us are unaware of those powers. And it is obvious to me that even the police commissioner and the staff there, they don't know this Constitution. And it would actually save them a lot of time on any of the issues that they're trying to deal with. If they knew this, if they knew all of this, if this information that I'm giving you was shared to every police officer in Ilorin and then shared to the imam and to the Isheshe and to Christianity, we would see a massive drop in religious conflict in that area immediately, because the information is not something you can argue about. It is in black and white in the Constitution, and everybody would have to comply with it. There will be no issue. That is why it is important. I've looked through the video and I've not seen anywhere where they have they've talked about any part of the Constitution, section 1, 3, section 10, or section 33. I've not heard it, and that is what. And when they solve it, when they say they call into Governor's office, they don't even talk about the Constitution in this way. They don't. I'm giving you facts. I'm not even into this one. Is not even a debate. I'm telling you exactly what they are doing, because this is what I see on the screen. Both sides, fine, but the fundamental issue, which is of course the constitutional facts, they are missing in this discussion. The constitutional facts, the constitutional rights, the constitutional absolutes, which is what we know that the Constitution itself is illegal because it was imposed on us. But as it is currently in use, the least they could do is to teach all the police in the areas where there's high incidence of religious tension in terms of practices, to remind them of the rights of everybody in that area, and it should be in their language. This has never happened. I guarantee you, this has never happened, and that is what we are trying to get at. So when you get this podcast, please do share. It is really important. Now let me get this. Let me listen to what he's saying here. I want to hear. So you see now, what should happen in that situation? Nothing is going to be resolved. I can tell you that has not resolved the situation. I can tell you that has not resolved the situation, because the real fundamental issue, which is what I'm giving to you, I'm showing you, they have not spoken about these three central key areas of the Constitution that relates to religious tensions. And that is what we need to do. So please, we need a lot of work to do in our communities. Let us share this information. It is in English on the screen. Take a screenshot of what you see on the screen here. Let me see if okay. Oh, that's a little bit short there. Okay, I'm gonna make it coming in. So please take a screenshot of these laws, the constitutional laws, section 1, 3, section 1, subsection 3, section 10, section 33, subsection 1. Take a copy of it in Yoruba, and it's in English and in Yoruba. I'll read it in Yoruba first than in English, because I believe we should put ourselves first. Yoruba is my language. I'm going to speak that first before you say the laws in our language first before I say it in English. So, apá kìíní ẹsẹ̀ kẹta. Tí òfin èyíkéyìí kò bá ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àwọn òfin àwọn ìpèsè tí òfin orílẹ̀-èdè yìí, òfin yìí yóò borí, àti pé òfin mìíràn yóò sì iye tí àìṣedéédé jẹ́ òfo. What does that mean? In English, section 1, subsection 3 of the Constitution states, if any other law is inconsistent with the provisions of this Constitution shall prevail, and that other law shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void. So, it is important that these are information that we share. And because it's in our language, you can say it in the market, you can say it on the street, you can say it among your friends to raise the level of awareness and stop and reduce these ethnic tensions. Section 10, Esekewa, Ofikewa, ìjọba ti federation tàbí ti ìpínlẹ̀ kò ní gba ẹ̀sìn èyíkéyìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀sìn ìpínlẹ̀. Straight translation in English, the government of the federation or of a state shall not adopt any religion as state religion. That's what it states. So these are straight, clear things that we need to share with our people on ground. On ground. And we have a lot of work to do collectively in our communities. Now, section 33, 1. Apá ẹsẹ̀ mẹ́tàlélọ́gbọ̀n ẹsẹ̀ kínní. Ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan ló ní ẹ̀tọ́ láti wà láyé, kò sì sóhun tó burú nínú wà láyé rẹ̀ àfi bí o bá ti ṣe ìdájọ́ ilé ẹjọ́ nípa ọ̀daràn ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tí a ti rí pé ó jẹ̀bi ní Nàìjíríà. Straight translation of that into English, every person has a right to life, and no one shall be deprived intentionally of his life, save in execution of the sentence of a court in respect of a criminal offense of which he has been found guilty in Nigeria. These are facts. You can see I've done it in Yoruba so that you can use that to speak to your people, and I've done it immediately in English. And I think we should put in Yoruba first in Yoruba land. It's not even a debate, and that is how we should be. Likewise, putting Igbo first in Igbo land, and so on and so forth. In Efik land, Efik, and then English. That is what we need to do, because it makes our people now know that we're first. Whereas by putting a foreign language first, our interests are not put first. That is the psychological damage that we're facing right now. And we need to begin to address that as communities. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing here. So those powers, I hope it makes sense. And we continue to call for the release of Tani Olohun, free Tani Olohun, hashtag free Tani Olohun. Put that hashtag on. I'm going to put it on the screen right now so that as we're talking. So let me just put that on. Free, hashtag free Tani Olohun. Just put it on there. It is on my broadcast. But I want you to share it, because that way we are going to keep it, on the hot burner in front of everyone's mind, forefront of our mind, so that this young man is freed. I mean, the sad thing is to hear that he was actually illegally, again, it's like illegal rendition. Isn't it interesting? Those who are preaching religion are telling us, this believe in that religion, but they actually carry out one of the worst things from what I'm seeing, from what I'm hearing. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to have to wrap it up here. We've spoken about this at length. The key information that you need is on the screen before you. Please take a screenshot of it. Just a word to my sister Vivian V. I look forward to receiving that translation from you. It'll be great to have a chat, and then we can talk about you coming on air with me or sharing it with me in a way so that and explain it to us on air to help people in your own community to understand. That's what we need to begin to do, because now that is our people not having this knowledge in our communities is a major problem for us. And by beginning to translate it into our local languages, we begin to really get them to understand the powers they possess and how to use it, and begin to hold their governor to account. Many of them believe that they have no power to hold the governor to account. Or the government is not going to do, they're just going to be doing it. The government, whatever the government says, that's it. But they don't realize that sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives all its powers and authority, which means that they are sovereigns and they have powers to actually participate in their governance because of the fact that they're sovereigns, by holding their governors to account, questioning them, using the powers, but critically, it has to be done collectively in each and every community. That is what we are trying to really engender and to share. So please, yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, I am going to come and talk about that. Vivian, thank you very much. I am going to go and talk. I will come and talk about that later on. So, but you said, sorry to go off topic, but when would you have a take on the impact of the Niger crisis, France, and ECOWAS etc. I will. That's gonna be next on the list. Believe me. Yes. So, yes. So absolutely, I agree with you. I am going to talk about that, and in fact, it's one of the things I've been drawing up some things, and in fact, I'm going to talk about it from an African-wide perspective. With Nigeria and everything else, and I will bring that in. I've got something prepared, so when I come back next, that will be something we'll talk about. So thank you for bringing that point up, and I really will make sure that is addressed at the next broadcast that I'm doing. So please do share. I think we've covered as much as we can on this broadcast, and we are appreciative of those of you that have joined us and stayed the course with us through this broadcast. But as ever, we urge you all. We do need your support. And how can you give us, what is the best support you can give Citizen AY, the platform where we speak to power? It is very simple, really simple, not complicated, not difficult. What you can do is to subscribe to Citizen AY, hit notification button, give us thumbs up. That is the simplest way you can help us. Subscribe, hit notification button, give us thumbs up. That is the simplest and the simplest way you can help us. You do that. And of course, every time we come live on air, always give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up. Every time you come on air, give us a thumbs up. When you come in, give us a thumbs up. So, subscribe, give us thumbs up, share the broadcast, share it to 100 people, 50, 1,000, as many of people as you can on your list, so that this helps us get the algorithm up. Because the information that we're sharing, it's not about a shouting match. It's about really solving our problems at a fundamental level. It's about really reaching to real, clear, cogent solutions to the problems that we face. Not just talking out of point. Bringing really central points that can actually, thank you very much, my brother, I appreciate that. So really bringing ideas and suggestions that are workable ideas to the table for us all to try. And the beauty about this is that we actually encourage, and I'll be doing more shows. When I'm doing shows, the next ones I'll be doing, please, I want you to be more interactive. So do call in. The number is always on the screen. You can see it at almost in the to the left of the screen, to the circle of the Citizen AY there, and you can just call the number. Once I say call in, the number is there, the phone is here, we will take your call and we can discuss as well. Because this is a two-way process. It is not just me just saying everything. I want to also hear. For example, now my sister trying to get clarification in terms of Niger and West Africa and ECOWAS and all of that. That's a brilliant point. And that is always how we get a proper move forward. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let me pin that up straight away. I'll pin that up straight away. I like that. It's always heartwarming to get a positive message like that, and I'm truly grateful. And yeah, please do not forget that translation. I'd really like to hear it from you, and let's get in touch. And inbox me. Sorry, on the WhatsApp number there. Please leave the message. Get in touch. You can get to immediately after this podcast. Get in touch, and we can really work on that. Yeah. So yeah, Tani Olohun should not be used for political or economic gain by the justice system. Thank you very much. Exactly. So they're trying to send a message that if you don't comply with what we're doing, we have the power to do X, Y, and Z. And we need to tell them that no, sovereignty belongs to us. That is why you see on the screen the sign here that saying sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom the government, through this constitution, derives its powers and authority. It is there to remind us that the power we possess. And I will be on the screen every time I do a broadcast, because we need our people to wake up. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much for joining Citizen Wide, the platform where we speak to the power. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, give us a thumbs up, help us reach more people. Share. If you shared this broadcast before, share again. Share to more people. Encourage people to come and join Citizen Wide, to subscribe to us, because there's a lot of work to do. Essentially, the real issue that we face is the lack of awareness about our rights within the Constitution. And on that area, that is a key area that of interest for Citizen AY, the platform where we speak to power. We've worked on that. We still need yet more work. But to be able to carry that work, we need support. The support would come with the more people subscribe to us, it will give us more time to be able to get information out to you in a more in a timely manner, and to be able to make sure that the information reaches a wider audience and begin to inform our thinking and our way of doing things on ground in Nigeria. I will be doing some of the program in Pidgin now and then, just to help as well, because I do speak Pidgin. I feel young small. when I get I feel young small. I like my Pidgin. Make we begin the yarn small. Make we talk about how we be. We know say easy for our people for home. They don't suffer take. Time don't knock. Make we begin help them. Make them begin the tanda for themselves. Make them begin the question the people with their government. All the ifulefus, all the cooks. So anyway, I just wanted to just give you a little flavor of me in Pidgin English. So I do that, and I can, yeah. Video occasion to take his voodoo. Exactly. Free Tani Olohun. That's a very good point. I like that point. So, Waris said, well, Omoyele Sowore was allowed to free religion expression to take his voodoo priest to Federal Court Abuja in question mark. Free Tani Olohun. Absolutely. So please, make the hashtag free Tani Olohun. Put that on the comments. Make sure that we keep him on our minds, and we will not relent until he's released. I would encourage us not to let's try and work together to make sure that we actually make sure he's released and not pay money, because that is going to be a way they will use to say they'll get somebody else and then it costs us all to keep coughing that money. We need to break this cycle, and the best way is using the knowledge of the Constitution. So please, anything you can do to help Citizen AY, be it giving super chats, be it subscribing, be it giving putting something in PayPal that you see on the screen, or the bank account that we have. Anything you do to help us is geared towards really raising the level of awareness in our community. There's a lot of work to do in that area. In every community, this work needs to be done. We need to have champions. Oh, thank you, Vivian. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. So we need to have communities of people coming together and actually putting into action these ideas that we're putting forward of the awareness, putting that into the communities to wake people up, to wake them up. So there's a lot of work for us all to do. But in closing, I want to thank you all so much for taking the time to join me and watching this all the while, and subscribing, leaving comments. I appreciate each and every comment. I appreciate each and every like and every thumb up and every share. I'm very grateful. And please Tell your friends about this platform. Let them know the important information that we share on this platform and the work that it is trying. What the aims of this platform is to enlighten our people, to empower them to be able to have independent lives, to be able to hold their governors to account, to be able to take action themselves, not to wait to be fed, but for them to actually take that action, take hold of their own situation, take control of their own destiny within their own community, using the powers in the Constitution. So please continue to share this broadcast. You are watching, of course, Citizen AY, the platform where we speak to power. I thank each and every one of you. Vivian V, thank you so very much, my sister. I appreciate you. What did you not do? Thank you so very much, my brother. Let me see. Somebody else is here. There's a few people I've seen here. T Majek, thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Olayinka Oyejobi, thank you so very much. Bola Tito K, thank you so very much. And then Janet Mati, thank you so very much. And for others, if I've missed you or I didn't see the comment, please, I thank you as well. Always, we encourage you to share the broadcast. Let us reach more people. This broadcast here, we collectively continue to say, free Tani Olohun, free him. It is not right that he is jailed. He must be freed. Please take a screenshot of the 3 sections, particularly that relates to religion, and share it in your communities. By doing so, you will help in reducing community tensions, encouraging those who practice Christianity, Islam, and Isheshe to read it in their community, so it will inform their actions. So I think we've covered quite a few things. So thank you so very much, my brothers and sisters. Thank you for joining me. You are, of course, watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, give us a thumbs up, and of course, share. I appreciate you all. One more thing to go. Keep it locked on. Thank you.